Hey guys, it's Cobalt here, and welcome back to another video. And Merry Christmas! I hope you guys have had a really wonderful holiday season. Whether you celebrate Christmas or not, happy holidays just in general. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a time lapse of my newest custom of Krampus. So normally when I do these kinds of videos, I just go straight into the time lapse, but for this one, I decided that it needed a bit more of an intro. Ever since 2017, I have made a custom of Krampus, which is basically a piece of European Christmas folklore. Krampus is essentially the evil spirit of Christmas, the anti-Santa Claus, the goat demon that kidnaps naughty children. And I don't know why, but I'm just obsessed with Krampus. I love him. And so ever since 2017, I have made a custom of Krampus sort of in my own original design, inspired by his folklore design. And I've just made one every year since then to sort of showcase my improvement as an LPS customizer and of course to provide my yearly sacrifice to Krampus himself. If you guys want to know more about all the other Krampus customs I made, I do have a video about that, so you can go and watch that by clicking the link in the little cards thing and at the very end of the video. But without further ado, let's get right on into the time lapse. So believe it or not, even though Krampus is half goat, I've never really made him from a goat base figure before. I mean, that's kind of lying because back for 2019, I did use a goat base, but it was not a regular LPS goat, and I finally acquired a regular Generation 2 goat base, which I've been saving especially for this because it's perfect. After sculpting it, it's more than perfect. It's perfectly perfect, and I'm super happy with this custom. For this guy, I not only wanted to, improve the designs of Krampus that I've already made, but also sort of combine some things that I learned throughout this year into this custom. One of those things being his big giant tail. All of my other Krampus customs, they have tails like this, but they're relatively small. This guy, I wanted him to have a big extravagant tail. I just thought this tail was so fun to sculpt, and I thought that it would look perfect for Krampus's tail, so I added that. And then, like I've done with a couple of my past customs, I of course incorporated a bunch of shiny golden details, especially to his horn and to pieces of his fur, to make them sort of stand out against the black. So he's got more stuff going on, and again, he's got his goat eyes, and this is a very fast time lapse. So that's pretty much all of my thought process going into this guy, and I will show him to you guys now. And here's my Krampus custom for 2022. This one is definitely my favorite so far. There's no competition whatsoever. Of course, there are still definitely things that I can improve, especially with his expression. I feel like could be a bit more exaggerated, and I'm definitely only going to be using this type of goat base figure in the future from now on, because look at how perfect it is. It just has such a great body shape. I think that it has the perfect proportions, and again, Krampus is part goat, so it makes sense. So now I'm going to go over all of the parts of this guy that I sculpted. I sculpted his little beard on his chin. I sculpted these two teeth on both sides of his mouth. I sculpted this fur on the sides of the head, on both sides. There's some fur right here at the top, inside of his ears. Of course, I sculpted his big horns, and I sculpted the tips of his ears to make them a bit more pointy and sort of elf-like. And I sculpted this little jingle bell belt around him. I sculpted some extra fur on his leg, on the front and the back. I added some fur right here. And again, I sculpted his big massive tail. And something that I wanted to do with this custom that I've never done with any of the Krampuses in the past is sculpt his front paws. So with my other ones, I have painted their front feet, this tan color instead of just painting them black like the hooves. But since Krampus is a bipedal creature, it makes sense that he has hooved feet and then regular hands. So for this one, even though, the LPS is a quadruped, I did want to give him the actual hands, because another thing that I've learned to do a lot better this year is sculpting claws. So obviously this LPS had goat hooves in the front as well, so I sculpted the little toe beans and then added these claws on front of them. And once again, I used my shiny detail technique to add some more definition to them. Basically what I do for that is I just lay down the flat black, and then I go over and kind of see here with a little bit of brown, and then I go over with a dry brushing of gold, so you can really get that shine, and it just adds a lot more definition, especially with the horns. Once you add the gloss on them, that's definitely one of my favorite parts about these customs. And for the eyes, I've just done the same eye style that I've done for Krampus for a while. I just think that it's an eye style that really works. So he's got his goat eyes, and that's sort of the way that I like to draw them. And for the clay sculpting, everything is sculpted with Kneadatite and epoxy sculpt. The stuff that is sculpted with epoxy, or his horns and his tail, everything else is Kneadatite. I just feel like epoxy works a lot better for the big parts. So yeah, if you couldn't already tell, I'm super happy with this custom. He's definitely one of my favorites, and I was definitely cutting it close this year, but I'm super proud of this guy and all of the stuff that I accomplished over the year and everything. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me, and thank you for everybody who's purchased a custom from me or commissioned me for something, because I've had so much fun doing that. And of course, since it is Christmas, let me know down in the comments what your favorite Christmas present you got this year was, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!